Welcome to another exciting episode of Smash Writing. I am your host, Paul. And today we are talking about Home Sweet Home Alone. I got the title right. I gotta be honest, I cheated too. Here's my post-it of the stuff that I want to talk about. So I don't know where to honestly begin with this film. So, oh my god, I don't even know how to start off with this film because it's just, so. Welcome to Smash Writing, guys. And like I said, we're talking about Home Sweet Home Alone. I'm reviewing it. It is on Disney Plus. It was released on the 12th of this month. So that gives you guys the heads up. This film, at first, I kind of thought was maybe like a reboot of sorts, but it turns out to actually be not like a sequel, but like a spin-off. What happened with the Kevin McAllister and the Macaulay Culkin movies are here in this universe. You get that because you do get a cameo, which we will talk about in a few minutes. Calm down if you haven't watched this film and you think the cameo is Macaulay Culkin. Just stop right there. I'm not going to waste your time with explaining the cameo. So, let's talk about Home Sweet Home Alone. So, the movie basically starts a married couple for the holidays. They are talking. Basically, they're having an open house, which the film reveals they haven't told their kids that I guess Jeff, the husband, lost his job and Pam's income is just not enough to keep the house going. And so they're holding an open house, which they, like I said, they don't tell their kids because, I mean, it's a traumatic event and I get that. So then after you get the idea that there is an open house, we then kick over to the main, which will turn out to be the main character, Max. Him and his mom are driving home from somewhere, and he has to really, really go to the bathroom, which his mom comes up with a plan to basically go to his open house, let him use the bathroom, and get out of there. Okay, not the most dramatic purpose, whatever. I mean, to get these characters to interact, it makes sense. So Max, he goes there and they pretend to look around at the house, and Max uses the bathroom. When Max comes out of the bathroom, basically he meets Jeff, who is going through some stuff in the closet and comes by a box of dolls that I guess was from his mother. Yeah, his mother. And at the time, he doesn't quite realize that it's they're valued. And I believe it's Max who tells him in his enlightenment that these dolls are worth money. They have like a goofy, over-the-top interaction. Okay. When they leave, Jeff goes back to the box and discovers that the ugly little boy, as they commonly refer to this doll, is missing. So, Jeff realizes that this is the kid, and I forgot how he finds out his name. Oh, because he remembers the back and forth conversation with Max and his mother, and he remembers the name. So he looks them up and finds their house. So he goes there, and he goes there to obviously try to get the doll back from Max, who Max's family is packing up in the crazy Home Alone style. Somehow everybody doesn't know where this person's at. It's running around that bag. They woke up late. The cheesy stuff that we have already seen through in this film series. As he's looking through the door, he sees Max's coat, and he sees what appears to be a doll figure. That's when Jeff brings his wife Pam into, and they're like, hey, this doll could be worth money. We have to get it back. That night, Jeff does look it up, and he sees that they're going for $200,000. This could save his family. Now, as I'm watching this film, I instantly started rooting for Jeff and Pam to get their doll back. Why not? It was their doll. And basically, Max stole it. So right there, this whole film, up to this point, you are now rooting for the bad guys. And you actually, not only are you rooting for them, you feel bad for them because they're not your typical bad guys. They are just trying to get a family heirloom back so they can keep their house and keep their family. Like, this whole thing is crazy. You're like instantly crazy that this kid is literally taking their doll, and this could save their house. This is not Kevin of years past where you're like, those criminals are breaking into that dude's house. They need stop. They deserve everything they got coming to them. But here in this film, you're instantly hating Max. You are. For the longest time through this film. And you go through the cheesy shenanigans of the over-the-top acting, the over-the-top how somehow this set up booby traps and all of that. It's still over the top. A little bit less believable than Home Alone 1 and 2 type stuff. I mean, and they basically recycled some of the ideas to use in this film. So it did nothing for the franchise. So then, they go back and forth. The cops are called, and that's where you get that little stupid cameo of Buzz being a cop. Epic disappointment. As much money as Disney has to do these Fox movies and release them on Disney Plus, they probably could have gotten Kevin in as a cameo, had Macaulay Culkin to reprise his role. But they had Buzz. Yeah. I don't know where to go from there. Nobody cared about Buzz. Nobody still cares about Buzz. It's a waste of your time. It's a waste of your time to care about this cameo. So finally they get to the kid. They get to Max. And they realize that Max is home alone. They realize after they went all through these booby traps, the up and down, that what they saw in his coat pocket was a can of like this sugar drink or something that he liked. And that's what he took. Then it's they bring Max back to their house because they realize Max is home alone and they don't want him to be home alone. Once again, even when they want you to think the bad guys are the bad guys because now that they realize they did all this and it was stupid, they still say, no, we're good people. And they bring him home, and that's when they see like Jeff's nephew, I believe, has the doll. And then it jumps a year later, and they're all bonding, the regular stuff. Yeah, cute, sure. I don't actually remember Jeff's nephew being home to the same time that the doll went missing. I think they want you to overlook that his brother comes in after that open house. I do believe. And if that's the case, that's a bad, cheap, nasty plot hole, because it's like the kid wasn't there. Jeff went back that same day, later that day, and was looking for the doll. So it just didn't make sense there. Rooting for the bad guys. Now, I feel like they had a good idea, but because of how the franchise is established, it didn't work that way. Nonetheless, they said it made you root for the there was no bad guy. In reality, the closest thing you had to the bad guy was supposed to be the main character, which is supposed to be the good guy. No, it failed. It failed. Just like this movie, it failed. The way over the top acting was a miss on my part. They had a couple little punchline jokes in there, cute. I appreciated the character Jeff and Pam. I thought Jeff and Pam which was played by Rob Delaney and Ellen Kemper, was probably the highlight, how they bounced off of each other. But even then, there was still some overacting that was just too much, too cheesy. And cheesy can get to you sometimes, and it got to me on this one. Reusing the same booby traps, there's only so much a kid can do, I guess, in reality. It is what it is. That's supposed to be the comedy part, and even then, it felt stiff because once again, you were rooting for what they called the bad guys. I guess losing your home and job to Disney makes you a bad guy. Who knows? Like I said, the cameo was a waste of time. I did hear things that there was going to be a cameo. This wasn't a reboot. With that, this made it a spin-off rather than a sequel, or yada, yada, yada. In the end, I'm probably giving this film a D, because there was nothing that it did for the franchise. They had a couple of the one-liners. Jeff and Mackenzie probably saved this film for me for being an F. I could care less about the kid, Max. I felt bad for the characters Pam and Jeff Mackenzie. You don't want to always catch yourself rooting for the bad guy, and the film's making you root for the bad guys, and you know it's probably going to be a bad film because they didn't do what they wanted to do. So, in the end, I am definitely giving this a D. Probably 61%. That might even be a D minus, to be honest with you. So, please, I hope that Disney won't do another sequel to this. I'm not saying it's the worst film, but I feel like Disney bought Fox for its library, and they're going to reboot everything, and it's just going to be horrible. But yeah, D. Cute for like the 10-year-olds, but this is not a legacy type film where, you're 32 or something, you can go back and watch it. This is one and done. I don't want to watch this film again. But until next time, guys, bye-bye.